If you feel like you're doing everything right, but still not breaking through, you're probably playing by rules that no longer exist. The game has completely shifted, and if nobody else will tell you, I will. We're no longer in a world where talent, hard work, and a little mystique are enough to build a brand. Today, we're competing in a digital-first era where attention isn't earned by what you do, it's earned by what you show. And that's the tension you're feeling right now, making you feel stuck. So in this video, I'm going to break down how consumption has changed over time and how your personal brand has to evolve along with it. Whether it's the big three in music, the big three in the NBA, or fresh stars like Cade Cunningham, you have to rebuild your strategy for this moment, not the last. Let's get to the point. What's up, y'all? I'm Derek, the marketing point guard, and welcome to my channel. Here I like to take insights and trending topics from sports and culture and break them down to help you build a personal brand, or if you're working on a brand, how to leverage those insights with what you do. And honestly, if you're not developing a personal brand right now, you're really falling behind. It's where everything is going. There's so much opportunity there. I'm passionate about both these things, and this is my way to bring it together to help you guys out. So if you found this channel, welcome. If you're back, thank you for joining again. Please like, subscribe, comment, trying to grow the page so I can keep bringing you guys content like this and helping you. So appreciate you all for locking in, and let's get to today's topic. So as you guys know, I've been developing my own personal marketing mantra around the mid-range. And a part of that is just finding seeing all these different ways that there's different threads connected through music, through sports, through culture that all tell the same story. And one of the most fascinating sparks I had recently, I was watching the podcast, The Bigger Picture, on Hip Hop DX with Elliott Wilson, DJ Head, Jeremy Hecht, and Glasses Malone called in. Rapper, sort of hip hop historian at this point, has his own podcast and commentary as well. But he had such an interesting point that really, it made me think a lot about how consumption is changing and how things are moving in today's society. And what he talked about was, he was speaking more specifically to music artists, but he was saying how in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, audio was the primary form of entertainment and consumption. So you could have stars develop who you never saw. And in that time, again, people would gather around the radio to listen to the news. They'd listen to boxing matches or baseball games, basketball, whatever. It was all centered around an audio experience. And the culture and the community was built around that kind of consumption. And so you could have music artists become superstars under this era, right? And sell records because people would get the music and still play without having to see them. And so as, you know, the 90s, early 2000s, we start to shift in this digital era and things become a shift from audio to visual. The playbooks didn't quite follow along with it. So now we have these digital and video first platforms, and the audio experience has become devalued. We don't only see that in how we engage with it, but how much we pay for it, right? We used to pay $10 to $15 for a single album. Now we pay $10 and get access to every album ever made. So right there you see a devaluing of the audio experience, but you're expecting artists to still play by the same rules. And where this gets interesting for me is looking at sort of like the big three, right? I grew to love hip hop in the blog era. So that generation of rapper, star just really resonates with me. And you have Drake, you have J. Cole, you have Kendrick Lamar, right? We're not here to rehash any beefs or anything like that, but those guys are definitively the big three of that era. And they all have something in common. They all had major cosigns, right? Dr. Dre stamped Kendrick, Lil Wayne stamped Drake, Jay-Z stamped Cole. And you have the ability to kind of change the guard or like pass down the game to the next generation because you feel confident in how you've prepared them to navigate that game. And so the mid 90s, early 90s stars, Snoop Dogg's, again, the Dre's of the world, are able to pass this off because they're like, all right, I seen you do the work. I know you're prepared. Take this thing and run with it. And so the generation, the middle generation, again, the game shifts as they're becoming the stars, right? They get the cosigns, all of them around like the 09 to 2010, 2011 era. and they start, producing chart-topping, award-winning music, and streaming era just pops up right in the middle, right? They start off having to sell physical albums and singles that we bought in Best Buys. There's famous footage of Kendrick in was he with Schoolboy Q or J Rock? Comment if you've seen that. But there's this iconic footage of him performing in Best Buys, or J. Cole and Drake rummaging through Best Buys to buy the album, because that was still a thing. And while they're kind of reaching the peak of their stardom, the game changes. So, there's no clear blueprint for them to even identify who the next stars are. Now, each of those guys have gone on to create their own record labels and have artists that they've collaborated with who are younger with them and they've put on and co-signed, but it still hasn't felt like that passing of the torch moment that we had so clearly, in the '09 range. And that's because the game has changed completely. And I think about this, obviously seeing it through a music lens, and I'm like, this is actually kind of happening in the basketball space as well. Quick timeout. If you're ready to stop guessing and start growing, I'd love to talk to you. I'm opening up a few one-on-one discovery calls this month for creators, athletes, and brands looking to turn their ideas into real strategy heading into 2026. Whether you're building a personal brand, launching a product, or just trying to find your mid-range, I'll help you craft a plan step by step. Hit the link in bio to book your discovery call now. I'd love to assist you on your next winning play. Now, let's get back to the video. Like the game, the NBA's big three of LeBron, Steph, and KD have been cooking for a very long time now. And Steph is in every game that tops the ratings. LeBron is a force of media coverage, commentary, critiques, whatever you want to say. He's in there. And KD is right there with those guys. And they have sort of kind of had the NBA in a bind for the past 10 to 15 years. And there doesn't seem to be quite an heir apparent, or like these guys, one, they're still playing at a high level. So it's kind of, usually by now, historically, they would have faded out. But these guys are still at the top of the game, still dominating in these ways. So you don't see this transference of power, and you got Shea, you got Wemby, you got Ant knocking on the door, showing these guys on the court that they're ready. But even still, like, they're coming into a game that is completely different. It's a completely different landscape, right? Like, even the style of play is so different, and how you captivate and engage an audience is different. So it's harder for them to pass it on, and you kind of got to take it. And that's what I think, again, Shea and Ant are doing a great job of. And Wemby, if he can stay healthy, is another one I see as kind of being that driving force. And also, it just comes back to, again, how are you able to develop and capture people's imaginations? It's not going to be the same. Right? If you look at the 80s and the 90s, when Jordan was kind of rising up, like, he was able to kind of be a little mysterious. You knew he was super competitive. Nike create these beautiful campaigns to tell you the story. Gatorade, be like Mike. You can kind of build your narrative through these products in these moments. Give a little late night interview here and there, but there wasn't that much expectation of you to show up outside of your role. Produce on the court, ad support you, build the narrative, you're good to go. And because of what Nike and Michael Jordan were able to do, getting a signature sneaker was the ultimate stamp of approval. Like, oh man, you're one of those guys. There was far and few between. There wasn't that much clutter in the marketplace, but now that is not the case. Everybody and their mama got a signature sneaker, and it doesn't feel special anymore. Like, I look around within Nike alone, they got Ja, Giannis, KD, LeBron, Book, Cade Cunningham just got announced. We'll get back to that in a little bit later. On the W side, you got Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionesco, Asia Wilson. In the family, you still got Jordan Brand, Tatum, Doncic, Zion. Converse, you got Shea. It's 13 already just in the Nike family. And then you got Adidas got another 4. Puma got another 3 or so. New Balance is cooking up. You got your Asian brands, China brands. You got Anta, Li Ning. And then you got Austin Reeves has his own shoe. Joker has his own shoe. Jaylen Brown has his own shoe. Aaron Gordon has his own shoe. And it's just like, all right, no slight to those guys, but this doesn't have the same appeal that it used to have. And so now what used to be the pinnacle of sports marketing, product storytelling, and development is now just the starting point. So how do you, as an athlete, kind of leverage a signature moment to build on your story, right? Like, this isn't where it ends anymore. This is now how you have to leverage the resources to create a bigger and better story. So that's the challenge I see ahead for Cade Cunningham. Like, he's a special talent, #1 pick, so it's not like a huge surprise, but he's been developing. I mean, as I'm recording this, the Pistons sit in first place in the Eastern Conference. After 2 years ago, they had 20 plus game losing streak. So he's put in the work on the court to develop his game and become a star in the league. Now he's stamped with the signature sneaker, but that doesn't mean you made it, because as a hoops head, we all know who Cade Cunningham is, but I don't think he's a household name yet. And that's kind of what signature sneaker, that's the expectation that comes with being a signature athlete. Like, you're going to be able to drive units and build out an entire ecosystem. And so, again, in the old world, that would have worked for him. New world, now the work starts. Now you got to dig in. What stories do you want to tell? How do you translate your lived personal experience and communicate that authentically through product and commercials and vignettes and web page design? And all these different things should be reflective of a world you're trying to build, right? Like, you don't just get to plop in. You have to build that narrative. And the more we get to know Cade and other athletes like that, the more we'll want to buy their products. That is now the new exchange, and why personal branding is so important, because you get to talk to your audience and you get to tell them who you are. They get to see you show up off the court, and they connect to you in that way. And that is what the goal is, right? Because ultimately you want to convert, and you can't do that by just being mysterious. You got to show up. We are in the show me era. No longer is it, oh, I just catch a highlight. Oh, I just watch the game. I really rock with his game. I respect him. That starts to build the trust. But it's you showing up online, you showing up organically in your way, that's where you build a real connection. And we'll buy your shoes after we learn to love you, the person. Because there's so much. You gotta, the only way you can stand out is by being you, because everybody else is taken. So you have to be you, and we have to connect with you, and then you can tell a story. So, the signature market is fascinating. It's obviously going through a bunch of changes in how, they sell and position things. But, like, Cade getting his own shoe is a huge deal with Nike, right? Like, that's a historic brand, obviously, in the signature sneaker space, and kind of defined it with Michael Jordan. So I think they've only had something like 23 or 24 or so signature athletes all time. Maybe that number's closer to 26 now or whatever. But if y'all know the exact number, let me know in the comments. But yeah, it's a growing space, but it's still prestigious if you handle it with care and do it right. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Cade is able to do, especially on the court. Like, again, they're killing it right now. I think he has one of the best signature logos in the game, with the double C's making a star. Like, that's fire. So a logo's great. It's just the start of the journey, though. So again, it's what energy you're able to infuse into these things, infuse into these products, infuse into these logos to make it matter and to connect with people. And so that's the task in front of them. And again, like I said, signature market is heating up. Steph's a free agent out here. They just announced AJ Debinsa as an NIL athlete. Jordan Brand just rolled out its recent NIL athletes, including Keon Anthony, which comes as no surprise. His father was over there, but still, it's exciting time. So, but again, at the core of it, it's all about your personal brand and how do you tell those stories? How do you tell those stories that connect to people? And so that's where we'll wrap it up today. If you've got something or you appreciated this, drop a comment, share with somebody you like. And, don't forget that you can do this too. You don't have to be in the NBA. You don't have to be a megastar. You have talents and gifts that can help people. Just got to figure out how to package it up. If you need some help with that, let's talk about in the comments. I'd love to help you start to build out those platforms and strategies. But in the meantime, got the video today, and I'll catch you guys next week. Hope you enjoy the holidays with the family. Tell somebody you're thankful for them. Express some gratitude, and I'll catch y'all next time.